Yeah, all I did was I stitched the last two holes back on each other, and it's pulled it down almost into line, so we'll see. Shouldn't be an issue though. I'm going to do one extra knot just to be sure. Okay, do that. Scissors, chop, and there you go. That's the bottom end of the quiver. So when it all joins in together like this, let me just zoom out. Yeah, when you join it all together, see there's the arrow stays like this. That end bit will come together something like that. That's lovely, that, isn't it? Oh, I like that. Okay, so that's that done for now. So we've taken these straps here, which we did put on the side bits, but that was wrong. I misread the pattern and I thought that it was supposed to go along there and along this side, but it didn't work out. So anyway, I took them off and I put them back on, and like I said, I'll always tell you when I make a mistake so that you don't. But that's how it's supposed to be, and it's a royal pain in the bum getting your hand in there and stitching. The first one's alright until you close it, and then the second one is a right pain. Right, there you go. Can you see it in that light? Yeah, there you go. Well, we've got to now try and put it all together. So like I say, we've got them sewn in there, the arrow stays. We've got the bottom sewn on. We've got all the straps ready to go on there. We can figure out it's really thick, that, so I don't know how we're going to do that, but we'll find a way, even if we have to stitch them on. We will find a way. But for now, I'm going to start stitching. So put all this lot safely out of the way. And we have the stitch pony as usual. Let's bring that over there. I've got the needles already threaded. Now you don't want to, if you've never done leathercraft and stitching before, practice on a crappy piece of leather. You don't want to have like 10 foot of thread. So I usually just have the thread in one hand, the piece in the end in the other, and I just open my arms full length and then cut it, and I work off a piece like that. And then when it's done, you tie it in. This is what you practice. You tie it in and you just re-thread and carry on. So I can't actually put it in this yet, so I'll put that to one side for now. So I'm just trying to find the end hole. There it is. So I put one needle through, pull them tight. You see the thread there, can't you? I'm just pulling it. Now I bring my light there. I can use that to rest it against. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring that over and try and get it through that hole without going through. Pass it through the hoop. And that one through there and through there again without going through the thread itself, and through the hoop. Pull them both tight, and I've gone and done it now. Now let me see if you can see that. Go any closer? Yeah. Okay, can you see that tangled mess just there? It's because my needle has gone through the thread as I went through. Now luckily for me it's a very tiny piece, and all I've got to do is snip it and we're back in business. But sometimes it can get really bad and you end up with a right mess. So there we go, we've joined that together. There you go. Now in the instruction video he uses yellow thread, but I like the contrast with the brown, so I'm going to keep it to that. So through and through. Now what I'm doing is I'm pulling the thread over to the side of the hole, so my needle I will push against that side of the leather and hopefully it won't go through the thread. Now with a bit of practice you won't do it as often. You will do it, but you won't do it as often. Now you can't pull it fully together like that. It just doesn't do it, no matter how hard you try. But as you go up, it'll all start closing up. So now I've got it closer together, try and pass the needles through with each other, because that way, if you can get your needles to go through together, you have less chance of catching the thread. So if you use your awl first, widen those holes, and then pass the needles. Let me zoom out a little bit. Pass the needles past each other. So if you pass the needles past each other, you don't go through the thread. And then once you get the needle through, swing over the top, swing over the top. That puts the needle through the hoops and creates the lock. And then we pull. Now, it's not going as closed here on the end as I would like it to. Can you see? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a few stitches over the top. Quite thick at the end because you've got like the bottom piece and the two side pieces all coming together. So I think we've done the best we can there. Bring that through one more time just to line my lace, me stitch back up again. Yeah. Okay, well, one thing's for sure, that's not going to come undone in a hurry. 20 years from now, that's still going to be tied. The reason I like doing saddle stitch is because it has a lock. It creates a lock. So if you accidentally tear one of the stitches, you don't end up with the whole thing coming undone. You can do whatever stitch you want, but I like the sound of that. That if one stitch doesn't work out, then you're not going to end up losing them all. Now I want to find a clamp. I'll show you why. Oh, one little thing, when you start your stitching, make a note of how you're passing your needles past each other. Which one's at the front, which one's at the back, and keep them like that, passing each other like that on every pass. Because you'll end up with nice neat stitching. Otherwise it'll still hold it together, but it'll look a bit, I don't know, what should I say, a bit like you could have done a lot better. Let's just say that. Just trying to find a way to hold this up. Oh, there we go. Look what I've done here, let me show you. You see what I've done? I've taken my stitch pony and I've sat it through there and I've put a clamp, so now, let's see, that can go further up there. Now I can pass my needles past each other and I can take both hands off. Over the top, that creates the lock. Pull them through and there you go. And then we just keep doing the same thing all the way up. I'll do one more through. This is why you should get used to widening your holes a little bit with the awl. Put both needles through past each other, because that way there's less chance, there's almost no chance of you sticking the needle through the thread. That usually happens when you get these close bits where you have to fiddle. Sometimes it's too hard to actually pass the needles through together. But yeah, there you go. Oh, that's going to look nice and neat, that is. Right, so I'll let you see that when I've got that bit done, and then we'll find a way to just close that up. Maybe put the awl through it squeeze it together tight. I might have to hammer that closed, and then maybe put a couple of stitches just to pull that end piece really tight. Just whilst I think on, another reason why you want to get used to stitching in small pieces of thread is because when you first start it looks lovely and clean, lovely and new, dead smart. But as you're going on, if you're pulling like 6 foot of thread through them holes again and again and again, it becomes very frayed, very tired looking, and it doesn't make your work look very good. So it's always better to practice until you can rethread quickly, and you can when you finish off, you can hide your thread and then start again, so it doesn't even look like you stopped. It's well worth taking the time to practice it, because the end result makes the thread look nice and tidy, doesn't look tired and worn out. Just for the benefit of anybody who might be struggling with the stitching, so you've got your stitch through. Let's say this is the very first hole that you've done. Okay, let's just say that. Put that out the way. So this is your very first hole. You've pushed one needle through, you've pulled it through, and you've got one on either side now. So you then put your needles together like that, and just pull your thread all the way up straight, so that you end up with the same. You see how it's going straight up? All I'm doing is pulling it up in the air. You see how I'm pulling it? The needles are level, and that's just to make the thread the same length. Okay, so that's how you will start, and then you go to your first hole. Remember, make it bigger with the awl. You see I've got the awl stuck through the hole there. I've just made a few of the holes bigger so that I don't have any trouble putting my needles past each other. So we go in, through to the other hole. Let me zoom in for you. There you go, you see, it comes through. Take the other one while that's halfway through, pass it by. Now I go left hand forward, right hand behind. Pass your needles past each other. Tilt them down, and pass them up like cross swords. That way you don't stab yourself. Now when you get them almost through, hold it like that. See, with your thumb and finger. Take this bit. Let me just zoom out a bit. Take this, and now we'll go a bit more. All live action. Take this bit, go around the needle, let go. Hold on to there, round the needle, let go, and then pull the needles through. And you can see that they've gone through hoops of the stitching. See the hoops? One on either side. That's what creates the lock. Now if you want, you can just let them go while you pull the thread through. But all I do is grab it, keep the needles in my hand, grab hold of it and pull it tight. And that's it. You just keep repeating all the way up. So I'll do another couple more. Through, through, left hand front needle, right hand back needle, bend down, cross sabres. You think of it as cross sabres, yeah. Cross the needles over each other. You see what I did? Push through, but tilt down and then push up. That way the needles are like cross sabres, so that you don't stab yourself because blunt needles or not, they can still hurt. And like I say, you could just drop it if you wanted like that. Do a couple more through, bend down, push across, hold, round, let go, hold there, round, let go, hold the needles, pull them through, pull it tight, through the hole, push in a bit, bend down, cross them, hold, over, let go, hold it there, take, over. Now if you're wondering which thread goes over, it's the one that's on the that's threaded through the needle. Over, let go, grab the needles, pull them through, pull it tight. Okay, if you're still not sure, just rewind the video and have another look. Right, what we've got here now is we are about halfway into the stitching. I'll just readjust the camera. So we're about halfway into the stitching now, up this side anyway, and my thread's getting really short, so I do a couple more passes and then I need to have a bit of length to do what I'm doing, to sort it out so I can get a new thread on it. So we'll do these couple of passes and then we'll do that. Okay, so we're through. So I'll see if I can move the camera closer. Okay, so what we're going to try and do now, we've got one thread, we've got two threads. Don't worry about any leather sticking up because we're going to smooth the edges off when we're done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull that tight. I'm going to take that thread, put it through the next hole and bring it up through the middle. Can you see there? I'm going to take that up through the middle. I'm going to take that one, bring it up through the hole, up through the middle, and then I'm going to take them, just do a couple of granny knots really, aren't they? Yeah. Thread it through, pull it tight a couple of times so it goes inside the leather. Then I'm going to cut it off, and then we just take the awl and push those in. Right. Take the needle, clean it up, get rid of all the old thread off it. This gives you the chance to have a nice clean thread, like I was saying, because the stuff that's left on there is starting to look a bit tired because it's gone through the holes so many times. So do that. I pull it out just the length of my arms. I don't do it all the way out, I do it about 1 meter. Cut it. Oops, stand up. Take one end, take the needle. You don't have a lot of trouble threading these because they're quite big holes. Now what I do, or what a lot of people do, is put your thread down on there. See if I can get it on the camera. Yeah, there we go. Hold it down, pull your needle along the thread a bit, and then just about an inch in, just flatten it with your needle. Get the tip of your needle, put it right in the middle and hold it down. Pull it up so it goes through it, but holding that thread, bring it back and go a bit further up the thread. Can you see? Bit further up the thread, so you've got like that S shape, and then just pull it all the way down the needle, grab the tip of the needle, pull that down and pull, and that knot, once you've gone all the way down with it, you pull the longer thread, and that then locks up tight with the needle. Do that on both ends. I'm going to find what I've done with my other needle. There it is. So we'll go through, put it down, flatten it a bit, put the needle right in the centre, stab it through, grab the thread. Now don't let it come out, keep it through, and come back, go up a little bit and then back through again, and that creates another lock. Pull it all the way down, grab hold of the longer piece, and what's that knot? See how the knot's travelling up? There you go, right to the needle, and then just tidy it up a bit. Right, so now you've got that. Go back to the thingy. Back to the project. Right, find where your last stitch was. Come back one hole, so you've got a whole stitch that you've already done in front of you. Push it through just like you would when you started before. Now remember, where I've got this, there's already a stitch in front, but remember, all you did was thread it through. Remember, it's not a proper stitch, so come back that one stitch. Go through without putting it through the thread. Be very careful. Level up your thread the way I showed you before, and once the level, try not to pull it and push it, because it will move around. Then we go commence stitching again, just as we did before. Cross over, 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 pull. Now watch this, you do one stitch, just pull it gently, you don't have to go ragging on it to make it really tight, you'll hurt yourself. Go two, just let it touch the leather. Go three, let's see if we can push it to four, and then four. I've been doing three, but I wanted to see if I could do four, so we'll go push it to four, pull it through. Now they're only gently against the leather, so grab hold of it, give it a good tug, and they all go nice and tight. Now you might even get 5 or 6, but at some point the back ones won't pull tight. So I'm going to do one, if you just do it gently at first and you do say about 4, you can actually get some speed up doing it. Just be careful that you don't miss a hole. If you miss a hole, you will have to undo it and go back, because it'll look daft, look a mess. 3, 4, and believe me, whilst I was learning and practicing, I did it a lot. It's all about paying attention. There you go, 4. Now we have to pick a spot when we get to this top bit. Let me see, I'll just take this out of here so we can have a look. When we get to this top bit, it opens out where the arrows go in. So we have to pick a spot where we're going to stop. And then we just, if you want to, just carry on stitching around the outside just to make it look the same. Give it a nice look. But we need to decide when are we going to stop, and I think I'm going to stop about there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to do 7 more holes, and then I'm going to stop and just stitch around the outside like I just said. Now, because I've turned the actual piece around, I have to think when I'm doing the needles, because when it was facing the other way, the right hand needle was at the back, left hand needle was at the front, so I have to make sure that the right hand needle, now I've spun it round, the right hand needle is now at the front and the other needle is at the back, because that way if you were looking from the other direction it would still be the same. No, let's do it again. If you just can't get the holes, the needle to come through the holes, just do it again. Make it a little bit wider, hold it still. You'd think because it's right opposite that you'd be able to get it through really easy, wouldn't you? But it does not always work that way. There we go. Oh, remember which way the needles go. Yep, it needs widening more. What it is, because I'm using the awl in one direction, the other side's not quite as wide, so we just do it in both directions, and hopefully we shouldn't have much more trouble. There we go. Through. You can just tell when you're looking at it where it's supposed to close to. So if you're worried about that, don't be, because as you get there you'll see it comes to a natural, like a natural stop where it looks right. Ow! Yeah, be careful. The tighter it gets, the harder it is to avoid doing that. Right, so we've reached what I think is the culmination point in that. So what I'm going to do, doesn't show this on the actual video, but what I'm going to do is do some stitching over the top to hold it there, like we did when we started off at the other end. But we've got to be very careful that we do, while we're mucking about trying to find the hole, very careful that we don't stick the needle through the thread, like we were saying earlier. So I'm going to give that a couple of times through. Do you know what? No, I'm not. No, that'll do. Yeah, that'll do. It crossed over itself, so it should do. But what we've got to do now is we've got to carry on stitching up the sides. So I'm going to put my needle through the next hole along on this side, but not to come out the other side. I'm going to go halfway through, pull my needle through, then I'm going to come onto the next hole down and just keep doing that, and we should. And I'm literally just going to go around and through all of these holes. Make them a bit wider to make the job easier. Now when you make them wider, they will stay wider to a degree, but more often than not it shrinks back a bit and tightens up a bit. So don't worry too much about stuff like that. Ooh, no, I've gone over the top. You see, you've got to be very careful about that. I went over the top on the outside, and that's not what I want to do. You see what I've done there? I've gone through 2 holes. But a quick thread through there should tidy that up. Bring that through. Through. So we've got to the end of it, and I've just threaded one of them back through into the inside, and then we're just going to do what we did before to tie it off. You just try and hide it, put it somewhere where it'll be hidden from view, you know. Now all I'm going to do is just push them in and tuck them down inside. That's all you need to do. Just stick it out the way. There we go. Now it'll be all a bit twisty bendy. Maybe a bit twisted out of shape and that, but it's leather. Just twist it back into shape. And there we are, pretty much it. Now you could fiddle with that bit if you wanted to. I mean, all you'd have to do is put a hole through it with your awl like this. Okay. Get a piece of thread. Obviously put it on your needles the way you did before. Where's my other needle? There it is in my hand. Get a bit of new thread. I think we don't need a very big piece at all. Remember, it's only one stitch hole. Just going to go through it a few times just to pull it tight. Just do what I did before, flatten it put the needle through once and then go up a bit and come back on itself, back through again, pull it down and then pull it tight. Same on the other end. Find where you flattened it, in and back on itself. Okay, so we've got this bit here, so we've punched the hole through it. I'm just going to do that, level them up, and then I'm just going to keep passing this through and pull it, ouch, pull it tight like that. Okay peeps, there we are, finished. This one's just for me, it's a showpiece, just to show people what I can do. I couldn't find the right rivets and things to go through these, so I just used copper rivets. I think it's turned out okay. Got the belt things, there's sand brown there, you just unclip that if you need to, or you just slot your belt clean through it. That moves around on there, that one doesn't, but it's at an angle so that when it's on your belt, it's kind of lopsided like that.